Okay, and then let's just wrap up by talking about the big game that's coming up to start the season that we started talking about. Texas is a 3-point dog, and really the schedule. When I looked at the schedule, that's also a part where I had to say, well, if there's a chink in the armor of potentially Texas. Winning more games than people think, because I think the win total is actually just 9.5. And I think right off the bat, you would just think, well, wait a second. I thought they were supposed to be the top ranked team in the country just about coming out of the season. 9.5 doesn't sound like a lot, even for a college football team over 12 games. But the schedule is actually pretty tough, not just at Ohio State, but it looks like every big game is either in a neutral site or on the road.
Yeah, obviously Ohio State, rematch of that Cotton Bowl from last year. Ohio State's replacing a lot. Will Howard's gone. A lot of the players on that team were gone. They do still have J.J. Smith. They do still have Caleb Downs. They still have talent. They're Ohio State, and it's going to be a rowdy environment up there. That's going to tell us a lot, not only about Arch Manning, but maybe what these strengths and weaknesses are, because usually Texas, they kind of save these games for week 2. Over the past few years, if they've played a big opponent, they get the Sam Houston or the San Jose State first, and then they'll play it.
So that seems like the smart way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm for that one. But this time they're starting the season with Ohio State on that Labor Day weekend. They're going to learn a lot about themselves. Ohio State's going to learn a lot about themselves with the undecided quarterback competition. But the wide receivers are going to be there. The running backs are going to be there. I think the way I described Ohio State's offensive line, Texas's offensive line, with may not have returning starters but experienced players. I think Ohio State has a similar setup. That's just going to be a big game. Game day, Corso's last game day. I know LSU and Clemson's going on. I think Florida State, Bama may be going on that weekend. But this could be number 1 versus number 2.
Yep.
And that's going to, rightfully draw the attention of the entire country. And then you got 3 cupcakes. San Jose State may be pretty good. I think that's a bowl team. Maybe even a team that competes for the Mountain West. UTEP their ceiling is 6 wins, and Sam Houston is not going to sniff 6 wins. So, and then to that point about the tough schedule, you see that right there. That's the month of October. Away, neutral site Dallas. Away. They play the entire month of October away from Austin, and that's going to be tough because Florida has we'll see what Florida is. They have some tests early as well. Oklahoma has a pretty light schedule. They do face Michigan with maybe a true freshman quarterback. They have a really, really weak schedule leading into that game. Kentucky at night, I don't think much of Kentucky this year, but it is a night game. And then Mississippi State, could be that's an environment that it's going to be loud. You're going to have ringing in your ears. I do wonder what's how the team is going to be heading into that game just after the full season. Vanderbilt, you know what? I know Texas kind of shot itself in the foot against them last year. I know Diego Pavia is back, but that game being in Austin, as long as Texas wakes up, I don't think it'll be as close as it was last year, but I don't think it'll be a laugher. They finally get a break, and then it's off to play between the hedges at Georgia and, see if they can I think when I looked it up, Kirby Smart hadn't lost a home game with a normal crowd since like his first season.
Wow.
Like they've just been dominant in Athens. That's going to be a tough one. And then they end it with 2 rivalries: Arkansas Southwest Conference rivalry. Who knows if Sam Pittman's still coaching that team at that point? And then they get Texas A&M at home. Last year that was the first time that the rivalry had been played since 2011. This will be the first time since 2010 that this game will be in Austin. So I think A&M is going to be another quality team. Remember that game last year was for a spot in the SEC championship game. That could very well happen again. And it'll be at night on Black Friday. I think the right day for this game. Give it a lot of national attention. They only have to compete with one NFL game, and you're going to see a lot of people there. It's definitely a circle to the calendar game in the state of Texas.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a really tough schedule. But hey, I guess if you're going to have a tough schedule, now is a good time with this new system, because as long as everybody knows you're a playoff national championship contender, you can even, I don't know, you might even be able to lose 3 games. But I'm still kind of surprised that it's 9.5, like I said. Here's just one service that has Texas right up there with Ohio State for the national championship odds. But yeah, I mean, even though they have that schedule, what do you think? I don't know if you've come up with an actual prediction yet, but do you think they'll win more than or 10 games or more in the regular season?
I mean, I think 9.5 is the right number, because if you lose to Ohio State and then you go 6-2 in the league, you can still make it to Atlanta for the SEC title game. And then if you're at 9-3 playing for the SEC title, that's going to be a conversation that is going to be tiresome. But if you are able to go and make, if you only lose one of the games against Ohio State, Florida, Oklahoma, Georgia, A&M, like if you go 4-1 in that stretch and you handle your business in your other games, like you're probably going to be a top, you're going to be in the top 5. You're going to be playing for the SEC title again. And you're, going to be considered a top team in the country. And at that point, I would like to think that it's because of, the strong defense and maybe Manning posting some positive stats and making a run at a certain trophy. But, it really does depend, I think, on these road trips. And Texas has been a very good team in true road games. They haven't lost a true road game since 2022.
Wow.
They've lost some neutral site games, but they haven't lost on the road since Oklahoma State 2022. They're really going to have to prove it when you're going to the Horseshoe, the Swamp, Matches, and then you always have to bring it when you're playing in Dallas.
Well, those kind of streaks, they're made to be broken. So eventually it will. But if they can avoid it this year, that'll be a heck of an accomplishment. I mean, how do you feel as following this team and knowing, of course, that there is an unknown there with Arch? Just that, like most kind of people, that Texas deserves to be one of the top teams for the national championship, and if they win it, obviously there's no surprise there. But I do think there is some expectation now for them to win it. So, because again, nobody knows if Arch Manning will leave. If I mean, unless you know more than I do regarding, because he's been patient at this point. So I don't think it would be a surprise either if he just stays another year, even if they win a national championship. But he could leave and then that's it. So you want to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think there's an excitement for what this team could be. Being a national championship contender like the ones of the past couple of years with Arch Manning. But I also think there is an urgency. You had 2 years of Quinn Ewers, 3 years technically, but a real 2-year title window in 23-24 with him at the helm, if they didn't get more than a Big 12 title. And they won some playoff games, and those were big accomplishments, to beat Clemson, to hang on against Arizona State, to be right there against Ohio State. Like those are real accomplishments. And I think, in this championship ring culture, it's just, well, what did you do? Well, I like winning. I think if you're a Texas fan, you like winning Peach Bowls. You like winning first rounds of the playoffs against the ACC champion on your home turf in a historic playoff game. Like that's the type of thing you like. But, like you mentioned, you've already gone through 2 years of the window. You don't know for sure if Arch Manning is going to be here after this year. You hope, but you don't know that for sure. But if he's leaving, that probably is pretty good for Texas. It means
You would think so.
It means he probably achieved goals he set out for himself. And maybe it's just individual ones and he has his name called in New York, or maybe it's the team goal, like he wins a national championship. And I think everybody would understand completely if Arch Manning leads Texas to a national championship this year and he went to the NFL. Well, he's going in the first round, so no one's going to begrudge him for that.
Yeah.
But
if not the first pick. Yeah.
But I think there truly is some urgency felt by Texas fans because they were so close and because they know that it was right there. 12 yards away in 2023, 10 yards away in 2024, like from tying or taking the lead in those games. They tasted it. They felt like they were just about to be in position and then had it snatched away. And they want to go further. They want to get to that title game. They're tired of it's weird. They're tired of going to the college football playoffs.
Yeah, right.
They're tired of that. It's time to
Yeah.
go above and beyond. And that's what they want to see.